See, you're thinking. Don't. 'Cause, Sergeant, you can't control who gets hit or who doesn't, who falls out of a chopper or why. It ain't up to you. It's just war. And speaking of war, tonight's review is Saving Private Ryan. It does qualify for something in the book, so I wanted to get you a review of something in the book right away. And you'll know why I need to get this in this year. I wanted to do some Christmas movies, but I have to get this one in this year. But you'll see why. A few disclaimers first. These videos are completely unedited and unfiltered. So whatever comes out of my mouth, whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. Who knows? But I mean, whatever comes out is what comes out, and I record it, and I don't edit these, because if I were to sit in here and edit these, I probably never would post them. And I also want to let you know there are going to be spoilers, especially for the movie that I'm reviewing. And tonight, right away, like, there's a spoiler almost right away. So please, if you want to avoid spoilers for movies that you have not seen, look at the list of videos, or excuse me, look at the list of movies underneath this video. I will show a whole list of movies that I talk about, and I'll have a header that says spoilers. So if you want to avoid spoilers, you'll see the few movies that I give spoilers away for, and you can avoid that if you want. So tonight, like I already said, Saving Private Ryan, challenge number 25. A film celebrating its 25th anniversary this year. And that is why I had to do it this year, because it is December 15th, which is the date I watched and am recording this. You probably won't get the video until the 16th, but the 15th. So the year is coming to a close, so I wanted to hurry up and get this in 2023. Movie title, I've already said, Saving Private Ryan. Year released 1998, so that is 25 years ago. I can't believe it's when I say 25 years ago. Wow, I remember seeing, okay, 25 years ago. And I remember seeing this in the theater, and I'm just like, wow, that was 25 years ago? Okay. Aspect ratio 1.85:1. Runtime 2 hours and 49 minutes. Genre, drama, war. Interesting that they have a war genre. Rated R, absolutely. Okay, they have this tiny little line for starring. And there are so many people in this movie. And I probably won't get it all right at first glance, because there are so many people in this doing small roles. You know, small roles like Ted Danson and Dennis Farina, who do such small roles, the little tiny little role. They're memorable, but I mean, anyway. So Tom Hanks, obviously, Tom Sizemore, Edward Burns, Barry Pepper, Adam Goldberg, Vin Diesel. If you didn't know, yes, Vin Diesel, Giovanni Ribisi, Matt Damon. Like I said, Ted Danson. Paul Giamatti is in this. Dennis Farina, I had said. Max Martini, which was in another film that I reviewed, Sabotage. I love that movie. So many other people. I'm gonna mess it up because they're not in any kind of order here, and I'm trying to like pick out the ones that I know. And it's gonna take too long because there's just a huge list of people. Did I say everybody I wanted to say? Yes, Jeremy Davies, and believe it or not, Bryan Cranston. I didn't even know it was Bryan Cranston. Oh, that's another note for later on. I should. Oh no, that's okay. Anyway, let's move on. A bunch of people in this movie. Love it. It's very, very well done. Date challenge completed 12/15. 23, and I give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars, 9 out of 10. You know, fantastic movie, very well done. Directed by Steven Spielberg, produced by Ian. Oh, you know what? My handwriting is so horrible, and I wrote this yesterday that I should probably look it up because my handwriting, I don't want to get it wrong. Ian Bryce. I never would have gotten that from my handwriting. Come on, Elijah. Why can't you write? Mark Gordon, Steven Spielberg, Gary Levinson. Written by Robert Rodat. Is that right? I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Rodat. Music by John Williams. Not one of the scores that pops into my mind as like fantastic. It fits the movie, but I don't ever really remember a piece from it. You know what I mean? There's not something that I really remember from it. But it fits the movie fine. Awards received. 5 Academy Awards it received. Best Director, Best Cinematographer, Best Sound, Best Film Editing, and Best Sound Effects Editing. Now, the sound is definitely, I think I wrote this note for later, so I'll just say it now. The sound is definitely something when I first watched this was like, whoa, the sound is unbelievable. And the sound editing, just like, wow. Just like when I saw Terminator 2, I was like, right away, watching it in the theater, I was just like, wait, no, I didn't see that one in the theater. I don't think I did. I don't think I saw that in the theater. But just watching it for the first time was like, holy shit. Like, the sound was noticeably above any other film. It was like, wow, this is great. The sound is really done well. And this is another one where I watched and just went, wow, the sound and the sound editing is just really, really done well. And I probably have a couple of notes to that effect. And I would like to say, this is a year that I was beside myself upset, like fucking pissed that the Academy gave the Best Picture to Shakespeare. What fucking bullshit, Shakespeare in Love? What? Some stupid love story won over Saving Private Ryan. This is a gorgeous film. So well done. Such an important story. So well told. So well acted. The cinematography, the directing, the everything. And then you give the Academy Award Best Picture to Shakespeare in Love? Some fluffy fucking love story? Okay, I have to say I haven't seen that film. I'm like halfway boycotting it because, you know, Saving Private Ryan lost. I was so upset. Like, really? Really? Okay, moving on. I got plenty of notes. I don't want to get hung up on that. Would you recommend this film? Yes. Yes and no. If you cannot handle war films, if you can't handle the violence and the graphic nature of war, you should not be watching this film because they do such a great job at making it realistic. And I have notes, so I'm not going to get into that note yet. But it's so well done and graphic. And yes, I would not recommend this to people who have a hard time with that kind of a film. Which character were you most able to identify with or connect with, in what way and why? Oh my goodness, I've said before, I really don't like this. I hate this question. I couldn't answer it before, and then actually it was after, spoilers, so many spoilers. So after he died, I realized, you know, who I identify with is Wade, the medic, Giovanni Ribisi. I identify with that character because he so doesn't belong there. He is not like anybody else. He's very empathetic. He's very compassionate and thoughtful. He's there to put his life on the line for others. I don't think, does he even carry a gun? Maybe, but he's a medic. Like, that's not what he's there for, to shoot other people. He's there to put himself in harm's way for other people. And I almost went into the Navy. I was a hair, literally a card thin from being in the Navy. I was going to be EOD, which, if you don't know what that is, Explosives Ordnance Disposal in the Navy. I qualified. I took the ASVAB and blew it away. I only missed 3 points. They wanted me for Navy Intelligence, but I wanted to do EOD. I qualified for a SEAL team. Physically, I qualified for a SEAL team because you have to be on a SEAL team in order to be EOD. You have to go through SEAL training in order to be EOD, and I had qualified, and I was literally that close to going in. And I won't say why. Let's just move on. It was a mistake they made. They made a simple mistake 3 times in a row, and I was like, that's a sign. And I stopped, and I said, the process needs to stop. 3 times you made this simple mistake. It's the easiest thing in the world. Something is telling me that maybe this is not the decision for me. And so I didn't. But if I would have gone in, EOD literally puts your life on the line. Explosives Ordnance Disposal. If you've seen The Hurt Locker, I didn't like that film, but that character is, yes, that is what I would have been doing. So if you saw The Hurt Locker and appreciate it and know that story, that's what I was going to do. So literally putting myself on the line for other people, which is what Wade does. He's not there to kill people, he's there to save people. Okay, moving on. Best line or memorable quote. Earn this. At the end, when he just earn this. That is by far probably one of the most memorable lines that most people remember. Most people love that when he says, James, earn this. When he's dying, so many spoilers. So you're not supposed to know in the beginning of the film that Captain Miller dies, but that is, oh my God. The other one that always sticks in my mind. There's not nearly enough space for this, but I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost, and the solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. Abraham Lincoln. I like the long version of it when he reads the entire letter. Love it. But that he says that twice in the film, and it really sits home, that letter, that quote from Abraham Lincoln. Was I surprised by the ending? What would you do differently? Yes. Again, like I said, spoilers. You're not supposed to know in the beginning that Captain Miller dies. You're supposed to think that that's Anyway, I have that note. But no, I did not expect, Tom Hanks, Captain Miller. I did not expect him to die. That did shock me. Because I'm watching this movie thinking that that's the guy in the beginning. That's the old man in the beginning. There's no way he's going to die. So it was a shock. I wouldn't do a thing different. This movie is very, very well done. Even though I don't give it a 5 stars, doesn't mean it wasn't perfectly done. I mean, it's brilliantly done, and I can't think of a thing that I would do different. Do you feel this film shows as well as it... Excuse me. Do you feel this film shows as well as it did when it was released 25 years ago? Explain. Oh, yeah. This is timeless. Because it's a period piece. He made it in 1998, but this is about 1940. Oh, shoot. Now I forgot the year. I think it's 43? We got into the war in 41, so I think this is 43. I can't remember exactly. But anyway, yes, this is a period piece, and he did it so well. And he doesn't overly use computer to where it makes it look dated. Like, unfortunately, Jurassic Park does look dated now. You watch it and you're like, wow. You watch the original and you're like, this movie is so good, but the graphics are so bad. Why? Because we've outdone those computer graphics, and we watch that nowadays and we're like, it's really not that great. It's really not that great when you watch it now. Anyway, this movie holds up absolutely. Beautiful, beautiful. Anything else to say? Yes, I have notes. In 2019, Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, and The Lion King all celebrated their 20th anniversaries. Well, you could do that for any year. So I'm assuming that maybe this book was published in 2019, and maybe that's why they said in 2019, blah, 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 blah. No, this says 2020. Why would they just pick some random year and say 2019? Anyway, okay, so moving on. Notes. 13 minutes. Notes. I love in the beginning, and I've already said it, that they mislead you. That you think that this old man at the cemetery, you think that it's going to be Captain Miller, because they show that close-up with him going away, and then what you get, that first battle scene, they show that same close-up with Captain Miller with Tom Hanks. So you think you're watching this whole thing. You think that old man is Tom Hanks. And I love that, because it's a complete misdirection. I'm not expecting anything to happen to Tom Hanks. Well, maybe get hurt, but not die. Not die. So when they're walking through, in the very beginning, when they're walking through the cemetery, I made this little note. If you're wondering who's that old officer in the suit and the outfit with the medals, and he's got the hat on, really old, older than the man that's walking, and he's just standing there watching them walk by. If you're wondering who that is, that gentleman is there to help you find. If you don't know, it's his job to know who's there and where they are. And if you don't know who you're looking for, it is his job to help you find them. That's what he does. That's what he does there. Does he get paid? I don't know if he gets paid, but he's a veteran, and he's there to help you find He's there to help you find somebody if you can't find them. Anyway, I wanted to mention that because it's just real quick, but you might be wondering to yourself, why is that guy there? He's just standing there. He's not doing anything. That's why. That, oh my God. So I was going to say this note before, but I want to say it now. Omaha Beach, this whole beginning scene is so well done. And it's so realistic. I remember before I went and saw this in the theater, I remember the news saying veterans were literally leaving the theater because it was so real and authentic and they were so traumatized they literally had to leave the theater. I remember that being in the news, that not just once, not just twice, but multiple times veterans had left the theater because it was too traumatizing, this whole beginning scene in Omaha Beach. And it is very well done. Again, the cinematography is beautiful because a lot of the camera angles, a lot of the camera movements, the speed of the camera showing things. And when you see that, when you go underwater and the sound is gone, you come up and you hear, the colors underwater, everything. It's beautifully done. And especially the sound. God, the sound. When they take the sound away, when he is when he's zoning, he does that twice in the movie, or maybe 3 times. When he's zoning and they pull that sound way down, and then how you hear it, and then the zips and the bings of the bullets, and it's just, wow. It's beautifully done. So well deserving of those Oscars. Absolutely so well deserving of those Oscars. I mean, this whole beginning battle is even traumatizing for people who have never been in war. So I can't imagine somebody who was there and then trying to watch this film, or was in war on the battlefield, any battlefield, and then trying to watch this film because of how realistic it is, because of what a great job Steven Spielberg did capturing that battle scene. No, something. This is war. I don't know what that says. That's a bad note. I can't read it. What's the rally point? Anywhere but here. Anywhere but here. It's a slaughter. That whole beginning scene is just an insane slaughter. I love the shots over the shoulder of the German soldiers shooting. Those are brilliant shots. You get and you understand how this is just a slaughter. And when he's like, just anywhere but here, let's get out of here. Just give us a fucking chance. When Ribisi yells that, when Wade yells that, it just drives home how one-sided this battle was. Like, oh my God, what are we doing here? And zero chance for mercy or giving you a chance. This is not war when you're playing as kids. This is war, men killing each other. This is real. And when he's just like, give us a chance, there is no give you a chance. If I give you a chance, I'm dead. This is survival. It's crazy. Oh, brilliant. I love this scene I love that Spielberg put this in, that the guy with the helmet, the bullet ricochets off the helmet, it's a bing, it ricochets, and then he's like, holy shit, and he pulls it off and he looks at it, he's like, you lucky fuck, and then boom, he gets shot. Oh, such a brilliant idea. I wouldn't have the idea to put that in, but such a great idea to just drive home the chaos of war, the anything can happen, and how Miller is just like, let's move, and everybody's just afraid to move because all they want is cover. But he's like, it doesn't matter cover. If we get shot, we get shot. If we die, we die. Our objective is to move. Here, we're in danger. We need to find how to get out of danger. Our objective is to capture the beach. That's what we need to do. And regardless of what might happen to me, might or might not, I don't know. We just need to move. We need to get somewhere else. I love that. His character is really good. Miller's character is wonderful, and Tom Hanks is amazing. I mean, Tom Hanks. He's up there with Jack Nicholson. They have the most Academy Awards for. They have the equal amount of Academy Awards for Best Actor in a leading role. Unfortunately, I shouldn't say that. Not unfortunately. Daniel Day-Lewis has more than them. He holds the record for the male who has the most actors in the leading role, not female, male actors in the leading role. I don't happen to agree with it, but anyway, Tom Hanks and Jack Nicholson are right behind him, one behind him. If I remember correctly, they have 2 and he has 3. If I remember correctly. It might be 3 and 4. I think it's 2 and 3. They have 2, he has 3. Anyway, I'll look that up later, and if I'll make a correction if I need to, but I believe that they have 2, he has 3. Love all the different personalities between the guys. Everyone has a very specific personality. I love that they work on their character and they really hone their character and stick with their character. It's very well done. And I think, you know, Steven Spielberg probably has a lot to do with that. I love that Jackson prays before almost every shot that he takes, you know. Barry Pepper. I keep wanting to call him Charlie Pepper, and I don't know why. Barry Pepper. Sergeant Horvath, collecting the dirt, Sizemore collecting the dirt. I love that. That's cool. That scene where Mellish cries in the beginning when Caparzo gives him the knife, the Nazi knife, and he says, you know, he keeps it, and then he cries. I love that in any other movie, in any other situation, we would be making fun of the guy who's crying. You know, it's not masculine to cry. But in war, in this situation, you have a Jew landing in a war zone, in a war that is most notably against the Jewish community. Not just. I mean, people forget that there are so many other people there were so many other types of people that were persecuted, not just the Jews. We focus so much on the Jews that we forget that there are so many other demographic of people that were killed, that were, you know, that the Reich was against, that the Nazis were against. You know, the LGBT community completely, the disabled community, which was largely children, those without, you know, that were either born disabled or born without certain limbs or, you know, they were discarded. You know, there's a lot of people who were persecuted during this war, not just the Jews. But anyway, I love that he is Jewish, landing in a war that is mainly, you know, a huge percentage of the persecution was against the Jews, and he is like literally like breaking down and crying, and like nobody. There is zero question about his masculinity. It doesn't have anything to do with masculinity or whether you're a man, whether you cry or not. It's the situation. And they all are there to support him. And I love that any other movie, they would be making fun of him. In this movie, they don't. They literally don't say a thing. And it's so well captured. It's well acted and well captured. It's just, it's great. I love that scene. That slow pan where we see that Private Ryan S., Sean Ryan, passed on the beach. Here's a beautiful example of finding something. Now, I've said before in other videos where it's really hard to like find something on accident. This wasn't necessarily on accident, kind of, little bit, not really. This typist who's sitting there typing out a letter, and you see that you can't hear anything. You don't know what she's doing. We don't see what she sees, but we see what she's doing. And you get from her performance, here is a performance for somebody who's probably union and background. So I've said before that there's a difference between background, which they don't say anything, they don't really do anything, they're not focused on, and then the difference between what I used to do, background, where it was zero focus. You might be able to see them. They may have lines in a crowd, but you would never really hear them, probably not. And then the difference between that and a union background actor, who is somebody we focus on, or somebody who has a line or two and is still considered background. Because I think at 3, you are no longer considered background, you are considered a character, whether you have a name or not. If you have 3 or more lines, then you have to be a character and you're not background. But this
woman, who's the typist, is most definitely a union background actor, because she doesn't say anything, but she is definitely focused on, and she has a wonderful performance. Silent. She doesn't say anything. Wonderful performance. I don't think she says anything. Oh my God, you know what? I just watched this and I'm like, really? I'm wrong. I think she does say something. Maybe she does say something. I'm sorry. So maybe she's not background. Oh my goodness. Just take all that away. I told you. Unedited. Unfiltered. So I love this performance by her where she's... so back to my original note was this accidental find. Not really. But she's typing a letter and you can see the recognition on her face. And then she goes through hers and finds another letter, and you see her comparing them, but you don't know what. Then you see her have the idea of something. I love that it's not at her desk. She goes to somebody else's desk, sorts through the letters that maybe she had already done and got approved by somebody else, and now they're in a binder getting ready to go out. So she finds it. They're telegrams. She finds... Oh my goodness, this is the third one, and you see her looking at all three and the expression on her face. And then we still don't know what's going on. She goes to two different people. We don't know what's going on until the men talk. And that's Bryan Cranston, the colonel with the missing arm. Bryan Cranston. I had no idea. I was like, until I, start watching all these Bryan Cranston films, and then you go back and watch Saving Private Ryan. Holy crap, that's Bryan Cranston. Oh my God. So anyway, I love that scene. That scene is done very, very well. To lose three sons in the same blow, in the same battle, basically in the same month. To lose three sons like that, and what a beautiful representation, what a beautiful scene. This is Silent. A full... Okay, so take all of my notes. Take all of my notes from what I said about the typist, because I think maybe she has lines, and apply them to the mother, Ryan's mother, their mother. She does not have any lines. I distinctly remember. This performance is completely silent, including the two men who show up. So all three of these actors are probably SAG, so union background actors. I seriously doubt any of these are actual character actors. These are all background actors. And what a wonderful performance. What a wonderfully shot. And when she looks up and sees the car coming in, and where she's at in Iowa, there's nobody ever comes out, and she's having what looks like either lunch. I'm thinking. I doubt it's breakfast. Maybe it's breakfast, but I think it's probably lunch or maybe an early dinner. Anyway, she's got one dish and she's cleaning it. It's just her, and she sees the car and she knows something's up, but not what. And she comes out, and as soon as she sees the priest, that beautiful when she goes across the screen, and then you literally see her lose her strength in her leg. It's so well done. And then she goes down to her, she goes down on the porch. She can't support her weight anymore. She knows as soon as she sees the priest that there's something. Wonderful performance. Wonderful performance. I love, like I've already said, that scene with the general where he reads the entire letter, Abraham Lincoln letter, where they're like, we can't, we don't know where he is or if he's still alive, or if we send more people, they're just going to die. And he says, he is alive. He says he is alive. We're going to send somebody to get him, and we're going to get him the hell out of there. I love that scene. And then, like I said, of course, the whole Lincoln letter is wonderful. I love that scene when he gets Upham. When Miller goes to get Upham because he's folding him into his company. He needs someone who speaks German. He needs someone who speaks French. And I love Upham is just like totally like nervous and not know what to do, and like, hey, but there are soldiers there, I never fired a weapon since basic training. I haven't held a weapon since basic training. He's like, did you fire the weapon in basic training? Yes. Then get your gear. Let's go. I love how calm Miller is. I mean, through everything. Most of the time, for the most part, Miller is very calm, even in battle, to a degree. That's why he's in charge. I love when he's like, can I bring my typewriter? He's like, he holds up the pencil. Like, you can bring a pencil, but you are not bringing that damn typewriter. The character of Upham, I really, really like this character a lot. No, I mean, he's not somebody I would date. He's not like that kind of a like. I like him. He's a cool character. I like his character. I empathize with his character until I don't, until I hate him. And there is that turning point where I hate him, and I'll talk about that later because I have those notes. But I like he is the only character throughout the entire film that changes so drastically his, who he is and what he does throughout the film so drastically that at one point I like him and then eventually I hate him. And it's just like, what is up with this character? Very well written, very well done, very well done. I'm not mistaking the actor for the character. It's not the actor that I don't like, it's the character. And the actor did such a great job that he makes me really not, I fucking love this. I love this character at first and then I hate him later. It's just like, he did a really good job. The levity. In movies like this that already bring so much weight to it, because we're talking about World War II, movies like this, huge dramatic films like this, that we know we're going to be caught up in this drama for a while, have to have moments of like, okay, we got to break this drama up, or we can't stay in this state forever. Same thing with most horror movies. You can't stay in that state of like tension forever. You've got to break it up with something. Excuse me. Whether it be a love scene, whether it be you take it back, take a really slow, dramatic, slow piece to calm everything down, or like this, the scenes of levity when they're first leaving, they first head out. This we're not writing a comedy. We're not trying to make an Eddie Murphy movie. But we are throwing some levity in there, a little bit of like we want to get you to lighten up and have a couple little chuckles, and because there are hard times ahead. So this whole scene where they're talking about there's not to reason why, there's but to do and die. La 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 la. What are you talking about? And Upham's talking about our duty as soldiers. This is what we're supposed to do. We follow orders. We don't question what we do. We follow orders. Pay attention. When Jackson starts to say, "God made me an instrument of war," and he says, "Pay attention, Ryben. This is how you gripe. Continue." I know he's like, this is how you gripe. and then I don't gripe in front of you. Well, what would you gripe? I don't gripe to you. Gripes go up, not down. I gripe to my superiors. You gripe to me. I gripe to my superiors. I don't gripe to you. I don't gripe in front of you. I love what he says. I don't gripe in front of you. Well, let's say that you're a major. Oh, what did he say? And I was a captain. What would you say? Or something like that. And he's like, well, in that case, I would say this is an extremely valuable objective, sir. I love that. And the little look that Horvath gives him, the little look that Mike is in. Mike Horvath, Tom Sizemore, has been with Captain Miller the longest. And so he knows him the best. To a degree. They're still trying to figure out, who he was before the war. But Mike knows him the best, Horvath. And so I love that little look he gives when Miller's like fucking with Ryben. I love that. And then what do? Like I said, we're breaking up these really intense parts with something else, with levity or long drawn out, like the church scene. I'll talk about the long drawn out dramatic piece to give us a break from the tension of what's going on. But right after that scene, like I was talking about, griping, right after that scene, what do we go into? We see the rain starts to fall and we hear the gun. The interesting the cover of the sound of the rain falling and then the sound of the guns. Again, the sound editing. The sound and sound editing are brilliant. And here's another example of it. I love that part where you're hearing the rain and then you start hearing the gunfire and then their feet falls and then right into the city with the fire. So again, cinematography, the beautiful camera movements. Now we're back. We're no longer in a scene of levity where there's no danger. Now, yes, everybody has guns and it's war and there's always an element of danger. But in that open field, there is a very low risk of danger. And now we are back into battle. We hear gunfire. We are back into battle, into danger. And so the camera movements change. The camera speeds and movements. And the choreography, oh my God, all of it's beautiful. They have some really beautiful movements with the camera. And as the soldiers are moving in and out here and there, it's so well done. And this piece really exemplifies that. I love it. I love it. When they first meet the town, and here we meet Paul Giamatti, his character. I don't even know what his character's name is. Do they even say? I don't ever remember them saying his name. Sergeant Hill? I don't remember. Maybe they did. Maybe I'm assuming they did say his name in the movie, but I never hear it, and I never remember hearing it. Anyway. As long as there's breath in his lung, he still carries the message. We do the same. So I love how Miller is matter-of-factly about it. As long as there's breath in his lungs, he still carries the message. We do the same. It's Caparzo that's freaking out. Vin Diesel is like, no, we wouldn't. We wouldn't do it. No, Miller is very matter-of-factly. We absolutely would do the same thing. We would keep shooting him until he dies because he's a messenger and he's carrying the message, and that's what and he's very black and white about it. That's what I love about Miller's character for the most part. He has his moment, and I have notes. He has his moments of breaking down of it's too much of okay, he's reached the point of the boiling point, and he does that several times in this film. I mean, he's only human, but Miller, I get that he is very like black and white about this, trying not to be emotional, trying not to be personal, and that's why I had the quote in the beginning about it's just war. Why? That's how Miller looks at it. This is war. This is objective. Yes, I looked it up. There were 10 million people were drafted in at least according to what I saw. 10 million people were drafted in World War II. So he's not there by choice. We find out later what he does at home. He's not there by choice. But he gets that this is war, and this is what we do. This is our objective. It's not emotional. It's black and white. Otherwise, he would be just as emotional in them and not be in control. And he needs to be in control. And that's what I love about Miller. Miller's great. And this just points out part of that. Yeah. Caparzo and the little girl. What are you thinking? Again, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we're not here to save girls. We're here to follow orders. That's what he says. We're not here to rescue girls. We're here to follow orders. And he takes the girl, and then Caparzo gets shot. So I didn't know who Vin Diesel was. I have this note right here. There were several people, when I saw this movie, there are several people I went, wow, I really like them so much, even though, like, Vin Diesel didn't have the biggest part in the world. He had a good part. It's not as small as Dennis Farina or Ted Danson, and I knew who Dennis Farina and Ted Danson were before I had seen this. So seeing them was like, oh, that's cool, and they have a small part, and that's fine. So Vin Diesel didn't technically have a small part, but it was smaller than most of them, because he's like the first one to die. But Vin Diesel, I didn't even know who he was before this film. So there are several actors in this film that I took note in this film and started paying attention to who they were. Vin Diesel is one of them. Barry Pepper is another one. He did such a great job in this film that from this point on, I started that's the guy from, and then eventually I remembered what his name was, Giovanni Ribisi, the same thing. I started noticing him in other films and going, oh, that's the guy from, Saving Private Ryan. And then eventually I started knowing his name. Paul Giamatti, Absolutely. He had such a quirky little fun little character. Oh, that's the guy from Saving Private Ryan, isn't it? That quirky guy. Yeah, that is. And then eventually I remembered his name. Tom Sizemore. He's the one that I'm not sure. Yes, absolutely. I remembered him in this movie. I love his character in this movie. This character in this movie is very similar to other characters, like when the quote in the beginning that I did was from Black Hawk Down, and Tom Sizemore is in Black Hawk Down. His character in this and his character in Black Hawk Down are very, very similar. Like, I would say almost the same character. Very similar to Tom Sizemore. And when he did Dreamcatcher too, that character was very similar to these two characters. Little different, but very similar. But I can't remember if I had seen Striking Distance enough, if Tom Sizemore had made enough of an impact on me, having seen Striking Distance, that I would have remembered him in this and been like, oh, that's the guy from Striking Distance. I don't know. I don't remember, because his character in Striking Distance is not necessarily passable, but definitely not like a prominent character like so many others. So I'm not sure if this is the movie where I went, oh, it's Tom Sizemore, or if I already knew him before this. But definitely everybody else. Vin Diesel, Barry Pepper, Giovanni Ribisi, Paul Giamatti. These are definitely people that I went, this movie, I started taking notice of them. And Edward Burns too, but I've never really liked... I don't think I've ever seen a performance of Edward Burns where I liked his character enough to actually like him. So he's kind of like, eh. He's kind of like... He does a good job, but I never see a character that I really like. Like, I can't think of one movie that he has done where I like the character enough that I follow that I'm like, oh, I loved his performance, and like everybody else, I just listed, and it's not his fault. It's maybe I haven't seen enough of his movies. I don't know. I think he's a fine actor. I don't like his character in this movie. I can't believe he's the only one that's, well, him and Upham are the only. I can't believe the two people I don't like. Two people I don't like. The two characters I don't like are the ones that survive. Oh, that's frustrating. I just realized that just now. Like, the two characters I don't like are the ones who survive, aside from Ryan. Because we don't go through the entire film with Ryan. We go through the entire film with all these other people. We don't even meet Ryan until halfway through, and I have a note about that later. Okay, so anyway. Back to when the whole reason why I went off on that tangent is because, this is the big scene with Vin Diesel when he gets the girl. And it's such a traumatic, like, out of nowhere scene when he gets shot. And I wasn't expecting that. And I'm like, holy crap. Wow. And he's laying there dying. And who's telling Wade? Wade is telling him not to move. Don't move. Stay still. He's like, I got this letter, take it to my family. Who's he telling? Fish. Who's he keep calling Fish? It's Mellish. He calls Mellish Fish. I don't know why. They never explain that. But he calls Mellish Fish. He did it in that scene, like I said, when he gives him the knife in the beginning. And he keeps telling Fish, take my letter to my dad. Take my letter to my dad. So I wonder why it is that Wade is the one who takes it upon himself to take the letter, and this letter becomes so important to him that he is rewriting it that night in the church. I love that scene, and I have notes to that. I love that scene. I wonder why it is, and again, it's because of why I like that character. He's not there to I don't even know if he carries a gun. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But he's not there to kill people. He's there to help. He's there to save people, and he's the one that is compassionate, empathetic, and thoughtful, and he is the one that takes it upon himself to take this letter, even though Fish/Mellish was Caparzo's friend, moreover, than Wade. So it's very interesting. It holds true to that character, Wade. When Paul Giamatti's character, what did I say it was? Sergeant Hill, when he sits down and that thing knocks on the wall and the wall comes down and they're all, I was like, what whoa, what? Of course, that was the point. I was like, whoa. So now they're in this big old, and then Ted Danson's guys shoot from above, and you're like, whoa, okay, what's going on? Like, I was not expecting that at all. Really well done scene. I like that a lot. This mistake with the wrong Ryan. Oh, here's another one. Nathan Fillion. Another one I was like, I didn't know who Nathan Fillion was before, and then such a small little role, but really well done. When they mess up and they think that he's the Ryan, he's James Frederick Ryan from Minnesota, not James Francis Ryan from Iowa. So this is James. Okay, I know all these things so well because I've seen this movie so many times. So yes, he is James Frederick Ryan from Minnesota, and his brothers are in grammar school. He does such a cool, really well job, really well acted. This little tiny part, the stupid mistake, it's just a big foul up. I love that they throw that in there. Very smart idea from the writers, from the writer, because only one person is credited as the writer, Robert Rodat. Very well done. Very well done. Ted Danson. I love Dennis Farina. I think that the one thing he does in this film that comes to mind that I think was a very, very good choice was not something that he said, was something that he did. And it's when Miller is explaining to him about all the bombs, all the stuff that they had done, and he gives him this look. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Please rewatch it. It's brilliant. He really does give him this look. I don't know how to explain the look, but he really is like, when he's explaining what he had done, and you see this look that he gives him that's just, I don't know what he's thinking at that moment, but I can think that, wow, this guy deserves to be in my position. You know, this guy deserves to be, he's wasted in his position. He should be in a higher rank than he is. I think that's what that look says, you know. He doesn't say anything like that. Anyway, the reason why I went off on the Farina tangent is because Ted Danson doesn't do anything necessarily physically acting-wise that I find a cut above, but he does have a line, and the way he delivers it is brilliant. That makes me remember him from this film. These two guys who barely have a character, who barely have a line, you know, a couple of lines, who are not in it but 2 minutes, 5 minutes, but they stand out because of one thing. Dennis Farina is that look, that brilliant act, that acting, that look. And Ted Danson is the line delivery when he says, I understand what you're doing. Good luck. No, I mean it. Find him. Get him home. And you feel all the emotion and how he does it and how he delivers it. It almost seems like a throwaway, but when you really listen to how he really means it. No, I mean it. Get him, find him, get him home. You know, I have brothers of my own where he says like that, you know, I get him home. He's the only one that agrees with the mission. He's the first person we run across who agrees with the objective of the mission, aside from the general in the beginning who sent them on the mission. Okay, so the church scene. Wow. Okay, Elijah, we need to move. Oh my God. Okay, we need to move. This church scene is brilliant. Again, here's another point where we got to break up the constant tension. And we do that this way instead of levity. Well, there is levity here. We get you to laugh a couple of times. But for the most part, it's taking a really long pause. We are now drawing out the situation. We're taking our time. There's nothing. We're taking a pause, a dramatic pause. And we do that with this conversation between Miller and Horvath about, you know, Vecchio, about, Vecchio's to P a V on everybody's thing for Vecchio, and they start laughing, and they talk about Miller's hand. You know, started doing that long ago. It just shakes. I don't know what's going on. And he says, 93 or 97 men have died under my command, so that means I've I've saved 10 times more of that, right? That's how you rationalize doing this job, is that I'm saving 10 times as many lives as I have lost. And then, like I said, Wade copying the letter, Caparzo's letter, and Jackson is just asleep, and they all comment about how he can just sleep anywhere. Why? Because he has a clean conscience. If anybody, if God be for me, who could be against me, or something like that. And then this wonderful, I have never, and I've seen a lot of Ribisi's performances since this film, and I say, in my opinion, never has he been better than this beautiful scene in the church when he talks about his mom. And you can see the emotion, even though, I mean, it's just a brilliant performance, because you feel it's believable. It's 1,000% believable. I've said this before. The mark of a good actor is I want to believe that you are who you are, and that what you're saying you believe is true. And absolutely, I believe him 1,000% in this performance that he gives about his mom being a nurse, and how he used to try to stay up, but then he'd fall asleep. You know, so the secret to falling asleep is trying to stay awake. And notice the sound, the echo of his voice. I mean, he's dialed up. His voice is, he's not speaking loud like I am right now. He's speaking very normal to them, actually kind of quiet. But the volume is turned way up on his voice, and it's brilliant. And the echo, because they're in a church, makes it louder. And you still hear the bombs of war going on. You hear chirping of birds, and you hear like creaking and stuff in the church. It's beautiful, beautiful sound. And his performance is amazing. And then he starts talking about how, and then sometimes I would pretend that I was asleep, and I know she just wanted to talk to me and find out, you know, I don't know why I did that. Oh my God, that performance is, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. It's just that performance is gorgeous. Wow. He does such a brilliant job at that performance. I have never seen him better. And I love some of the other stuff he's done. And this, in my opinion, is him at his best. And then after that, you know, you get that conversation with Miller and Upham. You know, I think this is good for me. And then you know Emerson. Yeah, I know some. You know, what'd you do before the war? What's the pool up to? As soon as it gets up to 500, I'll give you the answers and we'll split the money. So yes, we get a couple of laughs in there, but we're just taking a long pause from everything to give ourselves time to decompress from the pressure. And then they go on. And then the helicopter that's down, all that for a general. That guy's a great actor, and I wish I could find him right away. He's done a couple of things that I really like, but it's always that intense character. He was in Seven, and that really intense character, and I wish I could find him right away. But you know, we're at 52 minutes, and it would take me far too long to find him. I am so sorry that I don't know his name right off the bat. But he's talking about how they welded, you know, steel metal plates on the bottom of the helicopter, or the bottom of the chopper, and he couldn't keep it up. There's no way. And then it goes down, and Miller says, all that for a general, one man. Yeah, there's a lot of that going around. You know, FUBAR, that mystery of what FUBAR is still, you know, Upham doesn't know. And then right after that, the dog tag scene. Wow. Okay, here's another example of Wade. Wade is not like everybody else. They're playing around, and as much as you respect Miller's also playing around with them. He doesn't get what they're doing wrong. The film gets what we're doing wrong. The film is showing you what they're doing wrong. They're showing them playing around with the dog tags and showing people who are, you know, wounded and in war walking by, and the impact it's making, and them just playing around with these dog tags. You know, so we get as we're watching the film, because the film is showing us, but then we slowly get that Wade understands what are you guys doing, and not even Miller does, and Miller's the, you know, captain. Here's an example, like I said, of Wade he doesn't really belong there. He doesn't. He doesn't belong in war. He's there to save, not to kill. And he's empathetic and understanding and thoughtful. And you know, that's why I said he's the one I most identify with, because I do that. I notice those type of things too. And I love that he's the one that notices them. She's like, what are you guys doing? These are not poker chips. And he's like putting them back. It's so well done. Really, really well done. And here's the first breaking point. I believe the first breaking point. Captain Miller's had it up to here. We're never going to find him. He just starts, you know, anybody know Ryan? Anybody know Captain Ryan? And here we get that beautiful. There is no coincidence in life. Like everything, there's a path and a reason for everything in life. Whether you believe in destiny or not, whether you believed that we're all here for a purpose or not, you have to agree that this is not, you know, things that happen like this are not coincidence. There's a reason for this. And he starts yelling Ryan's name, and then boom, somebody's like, "Oh yeah, didn't it was blah 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 used to know Ryan? Oh yeah, bring him up here. Let's see if it's the same guy." Wow, like, wow. And then they go. Okay, so I don't know how to feel about this. Okay, so this whole next chunk that I'm going to talk about. It's hard to know how to feel about this. When they take down the machine gun. Okay, so we just saw, you know, the breaking point of Captain Miller. And up until now, Captain Miller has very much so has been the mission. The mission is the most important. Case in point, we're not here to rescue little girls. We are here to follow orders. There's a mission we have to do. But here he is ordering them to take out this machine gun. Excuse me. Here he is ordering them to take out this machine gun, which is highly more significant than some little girl. This could get them killed. This is a mission. This is an objective, a side mission. So it's very interesting to see this change, this shift in Captain Miller, that he decides to take out this gun. It's hard to know. It's hard to know how to feel about this whole point. When they finally do take it out, oh, that death scene with Wade is amazing. So the acting, Giovanni Ribisi is amazing when he's dying and he's freaking out and, you know, am I shot? You know, where's the blood coming from? Oh my God, it's my liver. And like, and everybody does such a great job in that scene. And they're trying to help him. And what do we do? You know, give him some more. Give him more morphine. It's okay. Give him more. You know, that whole scene is very, very well done. Oh my God. And it sucks. He's probably the worst. You feel it the most when he dies because he's such a sweet guy, because he's so empathetic and understanding. And because I don't think you ever really see him kill anyone. He's always there to help. And so when he dies, you're supposed to feel it. And they take the time to make sure his death is significant. And they take the time to make sure his death is drawn out a little bit. Not you know, Caparzo was drawn out too, but not to this degree. This is a different, like, just, and Caparzo was killed so early that we didn't really know him, but this is like significant. We're supposed to feel it. Why? Because now we're supposed to question what's going to happen next. That they want to kill this soldier, this guy that's left, the one soldier that's left. You know, we're supposed to be upset about Wade's death, that we're like, well, we want to kill him too. We don't want him to survive. And Upham trying to say that he should be, you know, he should be alive, blah, 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 blah. This is where I'm starting to like, Upham, just, you know, shut up. You know, this is where I start not liking Upham. And like, just, ugh. But they make the German soldier, like, dig the graves. And then here's where we see Captain Miller break down. And he cries. And that, oh my God. That is a very powerful scene when he is alone and he starts crying. He's crying on his own, and he scoots down so that nobody sees him, and he's crying. Tom Hanks, man, great, fantastic, wonderful actor, and this just shows off his ability. That breakdown. It's not quite as powerful as like Captain Phillips. Captain Phillip or Captain Phillips. That was that had me crying. That had me breathless and crying. It was like, whoa. His breakdown in that was unexpected and raw and real, and I felt it coming to the screen. This one is not quite as powerful, but it's up there. And it's brilliant when he finally breaks down. And when they let him go. So again, this is when I really start not liking Upham. Like, fuck you, Upham. Like, just, ugh. When he convinces Miller to let him go, and then Miller lets him go, and Miller says he's a POW. That is not true. He is not a POW if he is not in captivity. And you have just let him go, which means he's not a POW. Because the moment he's out of sight, or the moment he can't hear you, he's going to take his... They're right. He's going to take his gloves off. He's going to find his people. He doesn't give a shit. So, no. He is not a POW if he is not in custody. And you guys can't... If you guys kept him in custody, he would be a POW. So Miller's line about him being a POW is wrong. He is not a POW if he is not under custody. And he's not. As soon as you let him go, he's not under custody anymore. Here's where the company is falling apart. The company, Miller's company, is falling apart. Sorry, my allergies are going crazy today. A lot of stuff going on. And what brings them together? What stops them from literally tearing themselves? I mean, the chaos of that scene of everybody's like, just like the whole. I mean, nobody's listening to anybody anymore. Ryben wants to leave, and Horvath is like threatening him to, almost threatening to shoot him, and it's all being like topsy turvy. And then what brings it all together? What stops everything? What halts everything? Is that Miller says, "You want to know who I really am? I'm a teacher. I'm a school teacher." And if I tell people at home that I'm a school teacher, they're like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." But people here, they don't get it. They don't get it. I'm just a school teacher. That's all I do. I was drafted. Basically, he doesn't belong there either. If getting to Ramel and finding him so he can go home, if that earns me the right to go back to my wife, well that's my mission. That's another amazing line. That's my mission. That's another amazing line, and shifts the tide of who we know Miller to be. An hour and 46 minutes. We finally meet. We finally meet Private Ryan. The movie is called Saving Private Ryan, and we meet him at an hour and 46 minutes in. This is more than halfway through. Okay, Jaws. Steven Spielberg did it on accident, because I heard the whole fact that you don't see Jaws until like halfway through, like you really don't see him. I mean, you see glimpses of him, pieces of him, but you don't really get to see Jaws until like halfway through the movie. And they said that was part of the brilliance of the film, that you didn't get to see him. He waited to show you until the halfway through the film. Well, the thing was, the fucking shark didn't work. That's why we couldn't show him. He just didn't work. And that's why it took forever to actually show Jaws. So Jaws was an accident. We didn't show him until halfway through. We wanted to, but we couldn't because it didn't work. This Saving Private Ryan was not an accident. We waited until more than halfway through to show you Ryan and who he was. Even though when you see the previews, you knew it was Matt Damon. You knew it was going to be Matt Damon. But we don't see Private Ryan until more than halfway through the film. And that lends a significance and a weight to that character. Now we can't not watch him and wait for something significant from this character we've been talking about for an hour and 46 minutes, and finally now we see him. Very well done. Very well done. Props. I have to give props to the character, Ryan. I was not expecting this when I watched it. Almost every person we meet, almost every single person we meet in this entire film, everybody wants to go home. Nobody wants it to be there. Everybody wants the war to end. Everybody wants to get back to life. He is the only one. He is the first and only one who is like, I'm not leaving. My objective is this, to hold this bridge, and until reinforcements comes, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving the only brothers I have left. I'm not leaving them. And you got to give props to that sort of that level of integrity, that I'm here to do a job, and regardless of what's going on in my family, what's going on otherwise, I'm here to do a job. He's the only one that wants to say. And Sizemore has that great line, Horvath. I want to know what you think. You don't really want to know what I think. Yeah, Mike, I do. Someday we might look back on this and decide that Saving Private Ryan was the one decent thing we were able to pull out of this whole god-awful shitty mess. Wow. I love that line. And that's the turning point of we decide to stay. We decide to stay, save Private Ryan, and do the job here. Hold this bridge. When the company finally accepts Upham, tell him about Fubar, they accept him, they play around with him, he's one of the group. It's finally that they do that right before I fucking hate him to death. Like I loved him so much in the beginning of this movie, and then I hate him. And it's right here where they're like, they finally accept him, and then I hate him. And then he fails them. He's a piece of shit. Oh, okay. Here we are about to climax with this huge scene, the huge battle at the end. So what do we want to do? Again, we want to lighten the load. We want to lighten the scene. We want to give you a little break, a little levity before we get into here's the end and the climax and the big hit of the scene. So what do? That story of Ryben at home, the girl with the bust, her breasts are coming out of this slip or whatever, and then Ryan and Miller talking about Ryan's brothers, and that whole scene that happens before they all go off to basic. So we lighten the load a little bit here before we really get into it again. This is great pacing. This is great storytelling where we don't want to keep you in that tense, intense feeling the entire time. We break it up with these scenes, and here we are. We know we're about to get into it, so we put these moments of levity in. I love, again, now we're going back into battle, so the cinematography really kicks up, the camera movements and the angles, the speed, a lot of this great stuff, the coloring, a lot of, the practical special effects, not computer special effects, really, really great to see. I hate seeing Jackson go, he's such a cool character, Barry Pepper's character, Jackson. And it's a really neat scene, him up in the tower. It makes me think of whenever I watch Django Unchained, and they have that. Sorry, not Django Unchained. Inglourious Basterds. Whenever I watch Inglourious Basterds and they have that scene where the guy's talking about how he's in the tower and he killed all those enemies or whatever, this is what it reminds me of. Like, here's on the other end is Private Jackson in the tower killing all the Nazis. I like that scene. It's really cool. It's interesting to make him lefty, using a right-handed gun, but he's a lefty. That's a really interesting choice. And that whole scene where he gets shot, it's really good scene. Really good scene. Oh, my God. Okay, here we go. Fuck Upham. What a piece of shit. What a fucking hell. Absolutely, here's where I hate him. The company has finally accepted you. You're finally a part of the gang, and what do? You fail monumentally. You fail monumentally. You can't even get them bullets. You can't even take them bullets. There was no Germans in the building. You're sitting there freaking out. Even before, you could have gotten bullets to them and made a difference. And you didn't. You waited so long that finally you get to the building and the Germans are going in, and you don't warn them about the Germans in any way or shape or form at all. It's just like, fucking piece of shit. And then when Mellish and the German are like that wonderful scene where Mellish and that German soldier are fighting and rolling over the other guy, Martini, Max Martini, Henderson, Corporal Henderson. When they're rolling over him as he's dying, he must have been shot in the throat and he's choking, and they're rolling over him and he's dying. And oh my God, what a... Whoever's idea was to do that, it's really intense. Because here you have this guy dying, and then these guys fighting, rolling over. It's really well done. Really good idea. It's very intense. But, I mean, Upham's doing fucking nothing. Like, oh, what a piece of shit. I love that scene when Tom Sizemore's character gets shot. Oh, fuck. You know, when he gets shot in the... Son of a bitch. And he's just, you know, there's such a great reaction. And the reason why I say that character is like the same as the character in like Black Hawk Down, is when he's like just walking around and bullets are flying by. And he's just walking around total normal, like talking to people. At this point, he's already been shot in the neck. He's already been, like, we've all been shot. Let's just get it over with. I mean, he's the same brilliant, wonderful, intense integrity, full of integrity, follow orders, dependable kind of guy, like just amazing. His character, son of a bitch. When he gets shot, son of a bitch. Like, who told him to do that? Did he come up with that? It's just brilliant. I love it. He throws his gun, son of a bitch. Oh, I love it. I'm not expecting Miller to die. And I'm just watching this whole scene going, he's at the beginning. He's the guy at the cemetery. He's not going to die. So I'm not expecting him to die, even though he's like hurt and he's down and he's like, and I'm like, he's not going to die. And he's trying to get the bomb together, and then that thing explodes and he falls over and he sees Mike dead. And then he's sitting there and he sees the detonator, like, and he's like, he's going to go for it. And I'm like, okay, he's not going to die. There's no way. Because he's the guy in the beginning. He's the guy at the cemetery. I'm not expecting him to die. And then, of course, that fucking soldier, that German soldier that Upham convinced him to let go. Here he is back in ranks, and he's the one that shoots Miller. Boom. The final shot that eventually kills Miller. Like, what a brilliant turn of events for it borderlines, honestly. I'm just going to say it borderlines. Is this too much? Having this soldier that they were saying they shouldn't let go, having this soldier that Ryben's saying he's just going to go back into ranks, having this soldier that Miller let go, have him show up at the end. Not only is he back in ranks and shooting and killing American soldiers, but he's the one that kills Miller. Is it too much? And you know what? It definitely borderlines like believable, not believable, believable. It definitely borderlines it. But I have never felt like it tips the line and goes to too much. I have always felt like, wow, that was so well done. It goes the other way. It borderlines it and goes the other way. Wow, that was so well done. And I believe it. And it's like, it just makes me hate that character more. But I hate Upham even more. Why? Not just because of the despicable display of not being able to do anything in the scenes previous that I already talked about. But here he is when I'm gonna do my notes out of order real quick. Here he is when the American soldiers show up and the forces give up, and they give up, and Upham comes up. They are literally prisoners of war now. These are POWs now. Why? Because they have given up, and they are under custody now. You have guns on them. They are in custody, and he shoots him and kills him. What a piece of shit Upham is. I don't care that I want to see that German soldier die because he killed Miller, because of who he is. I don't care about my feelings. I care about the fact that Upham has zero integrity. What a piece of fucking shit. He can't even stay true to who he is. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know. I mean, he's just such a piece of shit. he's not a piece of shit like Edward Burns' character is a piece of shit through the whole movie. Reiben. He's a piece of shit, but he knows it. He's like my dad. My dad told me multiple times, Elijah, your dad's an asshole and he knows it. That's Reiben. You know, that's Michael Madsen in every Michael Madsen movie, in every movie he's ever been in. He plays an asshole, but he does it well. He does it very well. This is not that kind of an ass. This is not that kind of a piece of shit. Upham is just a piece of shit. He just has zero integrity and zero like idea of who he is or what he is doing or why he's just despicable. He's not a villain. He's just despicable. He's a despicable human being, a spineless, despicable human being. That character, and at this point in the film, I hate him. I'm like, you're just when he shoots this, you're just okay, okay, move on. I love that scene. Love the camera angle and Tom Hanks's performance when he's shooting his .45 at the tank, just shooting it. Oh, that's so well done. And then it blows up and he's like, "What?" It wasn't him. It was the airplane overhead. Such a great scene, especially that first shot camera angle when I wish they would have kept that camera angle a little longer before they made the first cut, but still such a wonderful shot, wonderful scene. And then that wonderful line, earn this, when he has that moment with him. And we know that, then we finally find out, okay, we get that the guy at the cemetery is Ryan. It's not Miller. So anyway, a little longer than I thought, hour 15, hour 16 by the time I'm done, because Saving Private Ryan, 25th anniversary this year. The year's almost over. Wonderful film. Wonderful. Like I said, 4.5 out of 5, 9 out of 10. I put my rating on IMDb. Great film. It was on the poster. So that's originally why I had wanted to do it, because it was on that poster that I had, that I no longer have. So that's Saving Private Ryan. Hopefully soon. Hopefully, I think next I'm going to try to get, if I have time, because work has been really crazy. If I have time, I'm going to try to throw in a Christmas movie before I do the next movie from review from the book. So hopefully this week you'll get 2. But anyway, thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.